So guys, before we get started with the animation controller, the first few things that I want to do is guys, so with the animation class, it's pretty basic. We might also like, what if we want to set the FPS directly, the frame rate directly? So yeah, this should be actually 0. It doesn't really matter, and the speed also shouldn't be there anymore because we're not using it anymore. So yeah. Anyways, so guys, what if we want to set the FPS, the frame rate directly? So yeah, we're just gonna simply add that functionality. I'll simply say public void set FPS, and we're gonna take an int value, int FPS, and we're simply going to say FPS is equal to uh this the duration, the frame rate. So this time we have the frame rate. We want to run this thing 10 times every second. So yeah. So for example, the frame rate of 30 times per second. So yeah. So okay, so I actually need to change this. This isn't FPS anymore. This should be sleep time. FPS, and I'll simply need to refactor, rename, and call it sleep time because basically what's happening is we're sleeping, we're not doing anything. So I'll simply say sleep time is equal to. So how do you calculate sleep time from an FPS? First of all, we need to convert the FPS into milliseconds. FPS is whatever times 1,000. Uh, yeah. So yeah. So to calculate the sleep time from an F from a F from a frame rate, we're simply going to simply say FPS 1,000 divided by FPS, and that's it. That we're done. So inside the player, I can simply set with all of this stuff. I can simply say walk dot set FPS to, I don't know, 30 frames per second, and now when we run it, that looks like 30 frames per second and 60 frames per second. You can see slightly it's moving faster, and yeah, if I can even put it to 120 frames per second. And yeah, so we can set the FPS manually right now. So yeah, that's a cool functionality we can add. So the next thing, yeah, let's go ahead and create an animation controller. So an animation controller basically allows us to switch between animations from this animation to the other animation. So for example, like zombie can have an attack animation, and the zombie can also have a walk animation. So basically, when it's time to walk, we want the zombie to walk, and if it's time to attack, we want to run the attack animation. So yeah, an animation controller helps to do that. So yeah, so inside, we're gonna go into our projects, and inside the zombie game.gfx animations, we're gonna create a new Java class, and I'll simply name this animation. And yeah, so I'm gonna name it animation controller because it's going to be controlling animations, and yeah, there we go, we're done. So right now, what we need to have is I think we need to have a hash map. Should we do a hash map or I think we're gonna create a hash map. So what that means is we're basically going to have a list of animations. So the animation controller will have a lot of lists, a list of lots of animations, and we need to swap between those lists. So yeah. So right now, I'm just gonna create a hash map. Hash. Is it called a hash map? I don't know. Yeah, it's called a hash map. So yeah. So we're gonna have a key and value pair, and here we're gonna have a string, and the value would be what is the value? What's the yeah? I don't know, man. I forgot. Whew, I forgot this thing's name. What's the? Oh, it's called an animation. Why am I so stupid? Anyway, so yeah, we're going to have a list, a hash map of animations. We're gonna call it animations. Do you actually need a hash map? I don't know, man. We're just gonna code as we go. So let me make this private. Can't activate this. You can't get it. So a few functions that we're gonna have in here are switch to this animation, switch, or should I simply say get animation? So I have a function to get animation. So I say animation get animation, and we're gonna take in a name, a string name, string animation name, and what we're gonna simply return is we're gonna return string. What are we gonna do? We're gonna return animation.name. Okay. Animations dot get object key, and we're gonna simply pass animation name, and there we go. Now let's get started. So number one, you want to have a way to add animations. So number one, I can simply add animations by taking in a list of animations. So yeah, animation controller, animation name. I think we should also have a string name inside the animation first. So yeah, have a string name, public string. I'm gonna make this public string name, and we're gonna create a constructor, another constructor, Control V, and we're just gonna simply pass in string name, and yeah, and simply say this dot name is equal to name, and pretty much that's it. And inside here, we're simply gonna take inside the animation controller. We can simply say animation controller blah blah blah, and we're gonna simply take in an array of animations. Animation array, and what we're gonna do is to iterate and put all of these inside the hash map. So yeah, guys. So basically, the animation controller will basically have lots of animations. It's just going to be a sorting way, a way to sort animations. So yeah. So yeah, so we're gonna have lots of animations in an array, and what we need to do is put all of this data or all these animations into this. So yeah, so first thing I'm gonna simply do is gonna simply say animations. Oh my goodness. So I need to refactor this. Animations equals to new hash map. I want to copy this, and now I'll just create a for loop for a for each loop because it's much faster. For animation anim, we're gonna simply say animations add. So it's not actually animations.add. I think it's animations.put, and we're simply going to say anim.name and anim. Pretty much that's it, and there we go. We have our animation controller. This is a very basic animation controller though. So yeah, but it'll still its work. So now we're gonna go into the player class, and we're gonna do a few things. And yeah, what I was gonna do? Okay, I forgot what I was gonna do. Okay, so I'm gonna create an animation controller. Yeah, animation controller, controller, and yeah, so we have our animation controller. Now we just need to add another animation, another walk, no attack animation. attack. And we're gonna simply do the same thing. We're gonna simply say RAR. I'm just gonna copy this. Control C and Control Z. Resource animation zombie A walk, and I'm gonna go with attack. Wait, what did I know? Let me just go to check in files. Attack, okay. Attack. How many frames were there? 0, 8. Okay, there are 9. There are 9. There are 9 images there. So we're gonna go with 9. Loading 9, and yeah, so we're gonna create a new animation. I'm gonna simply say attack is equal to new animations. Equals to new animation, and I'll simply press in R, and let's say I want the attack to run for 0.5 seconds. 0.5 F. And there we go, we're done. And we want to work, yeah, I'm gonna change the work for something 0.7, change the attack to 0.3. Anyway, so yeah, and now I simply need to add all of these into the animation controller. So I'll simply say controller is equals to new animation controller, and we're gonna pass in an array. I'm gonna pass in an array of objects. So I'll simply first thing I want to pass in is the, what do you call this? I want to pass in walk and attack. Bruh, it's not working. I think I'm just complicated things. And I simply say walk and attack. Sorry guys, yeah, I made a mistake over there. So new animation array. Bro, how do you pass in arrays by the way? Bro. Okay, there we go. Walk and attack. Before we get started, I need to add the names. Walk, and here I'll simply say attack. And yeah, so now inside the update method, so inside the update method, I'll simply move this, and I'll create a new animation. I'll create an animation, a current animation. Oh guys, by the way, I just remembered we need to have a very important function over here, and it's going to be the reset function. Public void reset. We're gonna simply say index is equal to 0. It's pretty much important. So yeah. Anyway, so inside the player class, we're going to start working with this. So right now, we're going to simply say current animation is equal to current animation is equals to controller get animation. Oh my goodness. Get animation. Why is this function not working? Oh my goodness. Public. And there we go. So inside here, I can simply come here and say dot get animation, the name of walk. not the walk animation right now. So that's going to be our current animation, and inside of void, where do we actually update the animation? I don't remember. Yeah, so right now we're simply going to say current animation dot update inside the update function, and yeah, dot update. And inside the render function, instead of saying walk, we're simply going to say current animation. And there we go. So now we have that done. Now we need to be able to switch animations, right? So what I did is, okay, right now I'm just gonna use the key input. So right now I'll create a function and I'll call it void manage animation. Void manage animation, and yeah. So first thing is when I listen for key input, I'm gonna say if if input might get key pressed is, I don't know which key. Let's go with Q. Do we have a Q either? Q key, Q. Okay, Q. There we go. Q. This is zero. Q. Okay, Q. Then we're simply going to say then we're simply going to say current animation equals to animation controller get animation get animation walk. And if we're pressing E, and if key pressed is E, we're going to simply say controller equals to get animation attack. And after that, we're simply going to say current animation dot. So we're gonna go into the animation controller and we're gonna reset the animation over here. Dot reset. Animation dot reset. Okay. So anyways, inside the animation class, I'm gonna create a new function, a new method, public, because I'm too lazy. So I'll simply say animation reset, and it's just gonna return new animation. This. Woo. Now we don't have to do this. So I'll simply just manager inside the player. I'll simply go down here and simply say we're going to say current animation dot reset. And if we made a change, we have to reset the current animation. Current animation dot reset. And right after this, we need to say current animation dot update. And yeah, so inside, where do we go? Okay, inside of here, I'll simply remove all of this and I'll call manage animation. Now when we run the okay, it seems to be having errors. What's in the, okay, so I need to remove this, and yeah. Now when we run this, see guys, I can swap between animations right now with the help of the animation controller. And yeah, guys, this is pretty much it. And yeah, guys, that's pretty much it, guys. So yeah, guys, thanks for watching. If you like, please subscribe, share, and comment. And yeah, guys, peace. Stay tuned for the next video. The next video, we're gonna get started with creating the zombie class.